So students, we have completed the basics of machining and the different types of cutting chips that being produced during metal cutting operation, and in the last video I have covered the concept of generatrix and directrix. So today we will have some discussion on orthogonal machining, the difference between the orthogonal as well as oblique cutting, and we all also discuss a little bit of single point turning tool, SPTT. Okay, so starting with the orthogonal cutting system, the two basic methods of metal cutting using a single point tool are the orthogonal 2D and oblique cutting, that is the 3D. Orthogonal cutting takes place when the cutting edge is straight and perpendicular to the direction of cutting, that is 90 degree. And for example, we have got lathe cut operation, straight milling, etc. And if the cutting edge of the tool is inclined, that is less than 90 degree to the line normal to the cutting direction, the cutting known as oblique. So first one, here you can see the tool is perpendicular. Next, the tool is making some angle less than 90 degree. So this is the difference between the orthogonal and oblique. Now, if I discuss about the background of this particular two different classes of cutting. So in earlier ages, what happens, the investigators in the metal cutting field have attempted to develop an analysis of the cutting process, which gives a clear understanding of the mechanisms involved and which enables the prediction of the important cutting parameters without the need for testing. But none of these several methods or models, whatever you say, so far developed could be fully substantiated and definitely stated to be the correct solution. It is worth examining them because they will be, we will try to discuss this phenomenon day by day qualitatively. Now, a general purpose metal cutting operation such as turning or milling is three-dimensional, this one, and is normally termed as oblique cutting. The obliquity comes from the angle between the cutting speed vector and the cutting edge of the tool, this one. Okay. Now, though this is the most practical, it is far more difficult to analyze because of its three dimensions, this one. Now, to simplify the matter, researchers often resort to orthogonal cutting, wherein the cutting edge is perpendicular to the cutting velocity. Similarly, parting operation in turning is orthogonal. Since this type of cutting reduces the complexity, so we will try to be based on this particular orthogonal cutting mainly in our chapters, okay, or modules, whatever you say. Okay. Now, I have taken another picture which is of colorful, so that you will be able to visualize very easily what is the difference between orthogonal cutting and oblique cutting. So tool here is having some angle with the cutting edge or cutting velocity, you can say better, and here it is the direction of the cutting, the velocity, and the tool is perpendicular, but here in oblique it is the angle that is making the tool with the cutting velocity. So in short, orthogonal cutting, we have cutting edge is normal to tool feet, cutting edge is inclined at an angle, acute angle to tool feet. Here only two force components are considered, that is cutting force and thrust force, hence known as two-dimensional cutting. Here only three components are considered, that is cutting force, radial force and thrust force, hence known as three-dimensional cutting. So here from you can easily visualize the difference between a two-dimensional cutting system and a three-dimensional cutting system. One more thing you need to check over here, The shear force acts on smaller area in case of orthogonal cutting area, and in case of oblique cutting we have shear force acting on larger surface area. Now the highlighted points in comparison to orthogonal system of cutting and oblique system of cutting are, again, the cutting edge of the tool is perpendicular to the cutting velocity factor, and in case of oblique cutting the cutting edge is inclined at an angle with the current velocity factor. Again, the cutting edge clears the width of the workpiece on either ends. The cutting edge may not clears the width of the workpiece on either ends in oblique cutting. The chip flows over tool face in case of orthogonal cutting, whereas the chip flows on the over the tool face, and in oblique cutting the chip flows on the tool face actually. In orthogonal cutting, what we have, only two components of the cutting forces are acting on the tool, but in oblique cutting we have only three components of the cutting forces are acting on the tool. Next, in orthogonal cutting we have assumed that the tool is perfectly sharp, but in case of oblique cutting the tool may not be perfectly sharp. Tool contacts the chip on rake face only in case of orthogonal cutting, whereas in case of oblique cutting the tool may not generate a surface parallel to the workpiece. Now orthogonal cutting we have got relatively shorter tool life, but in oblique cutting we are having longer tool life. Now one more thing, only one cutting edge in action in orthogonal cutting system, whereas more than one cutting edges are in action. So multi-point concept of multi-point tool comes in orthogonal cutting system, as because more than one cutting edges are in action. Now if you consider the picture, here you will find that this cutting tool and the direction of feed in this direction, so the direction of feed and the this surface of this workpiece is perpendicular, rake surface. But for this one, if you consider the rake face, this interface between the workpiece and the tool, it is an angle less than 90 degree, and the direction of the feed is towards this type. So look here, the angle is given, it might not be so much visible, but if you try to see this one is 60 degree. This is the direction of the feed, and this is the interface of the cutting tool and the workpiece. So it is making 60 degree with the feed. So that is the difference between the orthogonal type of system and oblique cutting system. Now if I consider the system of description of tool geometry, there are some assumptions. I must tell you that actually there are two schools of thoughts, as I already discussed with you, that is the orthogonal type of system and oblique cutting system, and it is regarding the plastic deformation that it takes place at the cutting zone. Now it seems that the thin zone model is likely to be the most useful, since it is simple for analysis purpose, and this analysis that we will be going to do in our later classes will be based on Merchant's thin shear plane model, considering the minimum energy principle, and this model would be applicable at very high cutting speeds which are generally practiced in production. So we must keep in mind that the mechanics of orthogonal cutting system is based on Merchant's, I must write it for you, it is very important, so you need to have a note of this one. So orthogonal cutting system is dependent on this Merchant's shear plane model, this one, okay, and it considers minimum energy principle, minimum energy principle, okay. So that is very important. First thing is Merchant's thin shear plane model, and second one is minimum energy principle. That two basis, on these two basis we are going to learn the mechanics of this orthogonal metal cutting, okay. And now one more thing is that this model, this particular model, that is a thin shear plane model, thin shear plane model. This thin shear plane model is applicable to high cutting speeds, high cutting speeds. Okay, and this type of system is generally preferred for production purpose. Okay, now coming to the assumptions parts. Assumptions are also very important. First assumption is the tool is perfectly sharp, as I earlier mentioned you, and has no contact along the clearance face. So the tool should be perfectly sharp. Second will be the surface where shear is occurring is a plane. So you must consider it as a plane. Okay, this is very important assumption. Next is the cutting edge is straight line extending perpendicular to the direction of motion and generates a plane surface as the work moves past it. So cutting edge is straight line extending perpendicular to the direction of the motion and generates a plane surface as the work moves past it. Okay, so you must keep in mind. Next we have the chip does not flow to either side or there is no side spread. So chip flow is also assumed to be unidirectional, that is either side. Chip flows at either side. Next, uncut chip thickness is constant. That is very, very, very important. It will help you in solving numericals. This particular concept we will be using while solving numericals. So uncut chip thickness is constant. Okay. Next, width of the tool is greater than the width of the work. So width of tool is greater than width of job or work, you can say. Okay, so that is the assumption. Next is a continuous chip is produced without any built-up edge. So continuous chip, you have to keep in mind that continuous chip is only produced and without any built-up edge, that you have to keep in mind. Next, work moves with a uniform velocity. So work or job or workpiece moves with uniform velocity. Okay. Next, the stresses on the shear plane are uniformly distributed. So stresses on shear plane is uniformly distributed. So these are the highlighting assumptions that you have to keep in mind while learning the orthogonal rake system. Now if you consider rake angles somewhat in many books they are given as alpha or somewhat gamma 0. So whatever you can use, that is not a problem. Just you have to keep the concept in mind. What does this actually orthogonal rake system implies? So orthogonal rake is the angle of inclination of the rake surface from reference plane, okay, and measured on the reference plane. Lambda is the inclination angle between the pi c from the direction of assumed longitudinal field and measured on pi c. Okay. Now here clearance angles are also there. There is the alpha 0 orthogonal clearance of the principal flank, that is the angle of inclination of the principal flank from pi c and measured on pi 0. Alpha 0 is also auxiliary orthogonal clearance angle of inclination of the auxiliary flank from auxiliary cutting plane. And there are also cutting angles, that is phi, they are denoted by phi only. Okay. Now if I consider a single point cutting tool, so single point cutting tool gives you this one is a single point cutting tool. This is the face, the upper portion you can see over here. This is the nose or nose radius sometimes. The lower portion is the heel. This side is the minor flank, the front view you can see. This edge is the end cutting edge angle. Okay. And this is the side cutting edge, this one. This is the major flank, this one. And this is the base, as you can see over here. This is the base. And the holding portion where the tool will be holded with the help of some fixtures or some clamping device or holding device, whatever say, that portion is known as shank. Okay. Next we have another picture. I have taken enough number of pictures of single point cutting tool so that you will be easily visualize the concept of a single point cutting tool, the different angles, different nomenclatures of a single point cutting tool or turning tool. So here again, if you consider this particular single point turning tool, you'll see this is the cutting part, this portion is the cutting part, this is the shank, this is the minor cutting edge, this one, this is the heel as you can see over here, and this is the major cutting edge angle. This is the edge angle. I will show you in next coming slides. Next we have got this one. This is also some kind of this is known as the tool holder actually. Okay, so here only we are going to sometimes attach a insert. Okay, so that is the consumable insert. Some after some machining operation it will be out of order, then we have to remove this insert from these mechanisms, temporary joining mechanisms, and we have to insert a new cutting tool that is known as also inserts actually. Okay, so this is the tool holder, and here you will find the small lathe tool. Okay, sometimes we can also use this tool, and we can remove this after the it got erased or wear and tool. So we can easily remove this particular small lathe tool by removing this fixture, and we can insert a new one. Next is your nomenclature of single point cutting tool. Again, just have a look of this one. It is the side view. So this one is the flank and this one is the shank. These two are very, very important for your examination purpose and for your both competitive as well. So you must keep in mind that shank portion is the main cutting portion, and the flank portion is the main cutting portion, and the shank portion is the portion where the tool is being holded, that is being by some clamping device or holding device or tool holder actually. Okay, so shank is used for the holding the cutting tool, and flank is the major portion where the different operations, that is the cutting operations, take place. Okay. If you consider this picture of this cutting tool, you will find that this is the shank, this is the base, this one is the face, this is the minor flank, this is the major flank, this side, and this is the cutting part, this is the minor cutting edge, that is the end cutting edge, this is the major cutting edge as you can see over here, and this is the corner, sometimes known as the nose radius also. So nose is also a name when there is a curvature along this length. Okay, so this is the, so if you consider this picture, you will find that this is the cutting tool. It is being used to cut the workpiece, and this is the chip coming out of the cutting tool after the operation, and this is the rake face as you can see over here. Now this is the flank. As I told you earlier that in the flank portion we are getting the cutting operation. So this is the flank. Okay, now this plane, along this plane is the cutting operation is going on. So this plane is known as the shear plane as you can see over here. So this is about the cutting nomenclature of single point cutting tool and different the labeling of the single point cutting tool. That is going to be very important for your examinations purposes. And we have also learned the orthogonal and oblique cutting system today. So this is all I think for today's class. From next class we will learn some more things about metal cutting, and I hope you have enjoyed today's class. Thank you for watching.